guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is October 18th, 2017. So I want to give you a little equipment update. I have now discovered the microphone issue is that I need a microphone that has a USB hookup. Our microphone only hooks up via the microphone jack. So bear with us while we get the sound worked out. If we do, this is a forewarning because I've had a lot of you guys say, now I can't hear anymore. Why was that necessary? Did you really need to do that? I'm never going to be able to hear anyone's videos ever again in reference to us getting loud and then, you know. So anyway, this is a forewarning. Sometimes we get loud and then the audio cracks. We're still working out the kinks of the new system. I'm going to get a new microphone.
We get a little excited and we just can't help it in our other...
I mean, could you imagine if Alex Jones was screaming into this microphone?
It would be awful. I have listened to it back. It's awful, but we got a new microphone and things are different.
We got a new webcam.
We got a new webcam, and that microphone isn't as good as the one we were using.
And we have a new setup, so now the computer's over here, so we're not getting... It's just a lot.
It's just working with us, and I thank you for your input, especially during our live broadcast.
We want feedback.
Yeah.
We do need to know when it's breaking your ears.
You can be
Definitely
nice
don't want
about
that
it.
to keep happening. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we have some breaking news. Are we going to go right to it?
Actually, no. We're gonna kind of
this is a different bombshell.
Touch on
Weinstein again.
While everybody's showing up, because I feel like I want you guys here in the live chat while we talk about the Clinton-Obama FBI. There's more information. We brought you the breaking story yesterday, and Jeff Sessions was questioned today on something separate, and he was actually questioned about this, and I want you to hear what Jeff Sessions has to say. But I do want to cover, you know, the ongoing Weinstein saga, because it tells a bigger picture about what is happening to the globalists and to the elitists worldwide.
Right.
One of the biggest things is sexual perversion of children, pedophilia, and a lot of that comes out through cultural Marxism, through music and entertainment. That's kind of like the Pied Piper, the thing that the devil has used to kind of get people to go down his path. And, you know, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring it to you guys right now. Sometimes I save scriptures and things for the end, but...
No, give it to them.
So, I was thinking about it earlier today, and I opened up my Bible, and I was telling Patriot Gallery, and we always talk about this, I really feel like the globalists are going down, and I really think it's God, and I'm really excited about it, because as a lot of you guys have been doing this for years. You've been debating people, evolution versus Christianity, or evolution versus creation. You've been debating, you've been trying to get stuff out about the Federal Reserve. You've been trying to warn people about the public school system. You've been wondering, when is it going to fall? And everyone has been feeling this big change for several years now. Yeah. And this election, we all felt it. It was like the cyst burst. But if any of you have ever had to deal with a giant cyst, you know that it kind of keeps getting reinfected a little bit, and you have to kind of like clean it out again. So
Our
that's
uncle
kind
had
of like
a giant boil on his back once, and they had we had to take him to the doctor to get it lanced. And dude, we had to pack that thing with iodine, and I mean it was.
So, anyways, we're kind of like in desysting stage right now.
Just mean back
and whenever I see Babylon in the Bible, I think of the globalist elites, the perversion. And so I open this up, and it's Isaiah 50. The word that the Lord spoke against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare among the nations, proclaim and set up a standard. Proclaim and do not conceal it. Say, Babylon is taken, Bel is shamed. Merodach, which is a Babylonian god, is broken in pieces. Her idols are humiliated. Her images are broken in pieces.
Yes.
And when I think of Harvey Weinstein, and I think of all the different things that are rolling in our direction, even just Trump being elected, which is why I back and support him, because the Trump election broke the backs of the New World Order. It was headed down one way, and the train switched tracks.
And they're scrambling, and that's why George Soros has pretty much put all of his eggs into one basket now. He has literally said, you know what, I'm putting all of my money in this thing.
George Soros put $18 million into his Open Society campaign. You know what he's going to do with that. They're already, Hollywood like Emma Stone and some McCarthy chick from SNL and a bunch of other people are coming out with ads against the NRA, against concealed carry. They are trying to get people. I mean, it's like it's a big thing, and these things are funded, like Black Lives Matter, are funded through George Soros' Open Society foundations. I think he spent like $1 billion in elections, I believe, in Hungary, which is why Hungary calls George Soros the devil.
Yeah.
Satan himself. Seriously, they came out with a campaign against George Soros. So her idols are humiliated, which I think of Hollywood, I think of the Oscar idol and things like that. Her images are broken in pieces. And then it goes on to say, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds had led them astray. And if you're watching us on Resistance Chicks, then most likely you know, whether you're a Christian or whether you believe in God or not, you see the churches and their false narrative and how they take people's money and they're not good anymore. I was reading in John Taylor Gatto's book on the underground history of education, and he even said that, you know, in the early 1900s, they switched from just being churches to a business. And many of you don't know, maybe you do. I went to school to be a minister. I actually went to
Rhema Bible Training Center
to learn how to be an evangelist and to go out into the world and preach the word.
I hate when people don't give it names, like somehow it's a secret. You know what I mean? On the shows, they don't give names. They're not going to name names. Some name names. They're corrupt.
Well, and in my classes, I remember being taught, like in the evangelist class, not how to evangelize people, not how to necessarily love people and bring them into the fold, but I had entire classes on how to manipulate people to get their money, like how to take up a second offering and how to lie to people and tell them, oh, my schedule's booked, but I could probably fit you in here to make yourself bigger than you really are. And so we know firsthand the corruption inside the church and the business model of the church. If you go to church, you like your church. I'm not telling you to stop going to church, but I am telling you that churches, American churches, are businesses now.
Especially the mega churches.
Yeah, but all churches are now businesses. I mean, our church, Faithy Free, is a business. That's what we grew up with. It's just a regular old church. And it goes on to say, it says, because you were glad, because you rejoiced, you destroyers of my heritage. And I just, past 100 years, everybody wants to know what's gone on with our food, what's gone on with our education, what's gone on with our monetary system. Mm-hmm. This past 100 years, I mean, it's just been bad. But guess what? It's like 100 years and we're switching. We're going back. It says, because you have grown fat like a heifer threshing grain, and you bellow like bulls, your mother shall be deeply ashamed. She who bore you shall be ashamed. And to me, I just think of everybody. I think, like, what is it? Somebody was saying top 8 people hold all the wealth in the world or something like that. I mean, these are people who've grown fat on everybody else. So I just wanted to bring that to you. When we're talking about Harvey Weinstein, I believe that this whole thing is an avalanche. It's just going to keep falling. Corruption is going down. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to rejoice. I want you to know you're finally winning. Yes. We're finally
It's a good feeling. It's a very good feeling. And I know sometimes it gets rocky and you kind of wonder, okay, well, it looks like they covered up Las Vegas. No, they tried. But it's all coming out. And Leah doesn't want to actually cover the Jesus Campos interview on Ellen just because we can't stand that woman and we will not give her airtime. We just refuse. But when we'll bring it to you later as a story. Well, I can just
tell you, Jesus Campos was not in hiding. Everybody who is anybody knew who he was, and he obviously Ellen knew who he was, but the police didn't. Yeah. Now that smells like stanky stank.
Yeah, it just goes to show, in all honesty, that the Hollyweirds are in cahoots with the deep state and Agenda 21.
If this doesn't stink to you, he wouldn't go on Hannity. They said, don't go on Hannity, go on Ellen.
Right.
Because they knew that Hannity would ask him questions that would trip him up, whereas Ellen would not.
Exactly.
So this is a bombshell. Longtime Clinton friend admits warning top-level Democrats about Weinstein. Linda Bloodworth Thomason, the creator of the iconic 1990 sitcom Designing Women and a close friend for decades of Bill and Hillary Clinton, admits that she not only knew of producer Harvey Weinstein's
indiscretions and
but
whatever.
that she warned top-level Democrats about him.
Wow.
Buried deep within a Hollywood Reporter guest column, Bloodworth Thomason drops this bombshell with a deflecting shot at Fox News. I confess to have had no problem warning at least 3 top-level Democrat operatives against allowing Harvey Weinstein to host political fundraisers. A warning that evidently fell into the glee of Fox News, fell on deaf ears. She also says she was a member of Let's Bring Harvey Weinstein Down Lunch Club and appears to express some disbelief towards those who, despite knowing him for decades, now announced they had no idea what was going on. She writes, okay, whatever. And so the question is, if Bloodworth Thomason knew about Weinstein's alleged predations and warned top-level Democrats, how difficult is it to add 2 and 2 and come up with the Clintons and the Democratic Party knew?
They all knew.
Certainly, we have no reason to doubt Bloodworth Thomason. At least 3 top-level Democrats knew and did nothing to stop Weinstein from becoming a major player with a fundraiser within the party. Talk about a war on women. For the Clintons and the Democratic Party, Harvey Weinstein was a rainmaker. Over the years, he not only personally contributed somewhere around $1 million to various Democrats, including the Clintons and President Obama, but his bundling and fundraising raised, by some estimates, tens of millions of dollars for the Clintons, for Obama. He was a kingmaker. Moreover, these high-level political connections undoubtedly helped to shield him for all these years, because when people need your money, they will let anything slide. Bloodworth Thomason is also open about why high-powered men remain protected. She admits her feminism was tested by Bill Clinton's behavior when she was on the front lines defending him in the 90s. However, I will be the first to admit that clearly delineated moral choices can still be painfully complex where friendship is involved. One of the best friends I will ever have, and a man I dearly love, former President Bill Clinton, has certainly taxed my feminist conscience, but always without diminishing my affection.
Now, hang on, though. Pause right there. Because if what he did wasn't wrong, then why is it attacking her feminist conscience?
Oh, duh. Yeah. And she even helped write his apology to the nation for his own sexual misconduct and was sitting next to him when he delivered it. And believed to this day it was based on something that was none of our business. And yes, some may call it hypocritical. So she's like, you know what? Weinstein is a pig, but Clinton was awesome, and I helped. I mean, so she is part of the problem, and it just makes me sick. I can't even get out about. I'm just disgusted right now. I just can't even. Blah, 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 blah. This isn't exactly what I was going to play, but I do want to make note of this. Vegas survivor who died suddenly had planned a group to expose the cover-up. And if you would like to see that, Alex Jones, 3rd hour today, he talks about the woman who died, the woman who had the epilepsy seizure.
And she was pulling everybody together that was a witness. Right. Because for those of you that don't know, and I think most of you do, but if you just get your news from us, they confiscated everybody's cell phones, whatever they had, and not only that, they wiped them clean.
Right.
So anybody that had a video was really special, and she was trying to group together and put it all together, and then she just mysteriously ends up conveniently dead.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to play for you. This is the bombshell. This is the big story. Everybody's talking about this. Don Jr. He is actually, if you're not on Twitter, just follow Don Jr. because it's hilarious to think to yourself that Donald Trump's son is tweeting out these things. He's tweeting out, actually, Donald Trump Jr. tweeted out this article, which was Team Obama's stunning cover-up of Russian crimes, which I find, to me, is just hilariously awesome. We watched Sean Hannity last night. I'm grateful for Alex Jones. His team put together, like a good little compilation here where we're going to watch Jeff Sessions being questioned today about this.
They just so happened to throw it in there, though. That's not why he was being questioned.
Exactly. They just so happened to throw this in there.
I love that they did that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
tampered with our election results in 2016.
Turn up, yeah.
Well, 6 years before that, they tampered with our nuclear security. The case proved that the Russia's nuclear industry had bribed their way and compromised the American trucking company that moved all of Russia's uranium in the United States. That's a national security threat. And for 2 years, the Obama administration, Hillary Clinton, and everybody who's been quoted has said the Obama administration had no knowledge of a national security threat, and that's why they didn't have any problem approving the Uranium One deal. Well, guess what? Tonight, we have a real national security threat that was proven in real time in 2009, and it's going to be interesting to see what Congress does. Tomorrow morning, Chuck Grassley has a hearing with Jeff Sessions on the seat, and I think you might see some interesting questions.
All right. I want to ask a question that looks like history, but it was in the news recently, yesterday, I believe. According to government documents and recent news reports, the Justice Department had an ongoing criminal investigation for bribery, extortion, and money laundering into officials for the Russian company making the purchase of Uranium One. That purchase was approved during the previous administration and resulted in the Russians owning 20% of America's uranium mining capacity. What are you doing to find out how the Russian takeover of the American uranium was allowed to occur despite criminal conduct by the Russian company that the Obama administration approved to make the purchase?
Mr. Chairman, we will hear your concerns. The Department of Justice will take such actions as is appropriate, I know. And I would offer that some people have gone to jail in that transaction already.
So I want to stop that because Michelle and I were walking dogs today and we were talking about this. Some people have already gone to jail over this trucking bribery, extortion, Russian collusion mishap. In 2009,
but it wasn't serious enough.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, people only went to jail over it.
But the article talks about other issues. So without confirming or denying the existence of any particular investigation, I would say I hear your concerns and they will be reviewed.
This is stunning that the Attorney General of the United States, Eric Holder, hid the information.
This is Sarah Carter. She had tweeted something out that she was going to break something, and her and Hannity were going back and forth. And I saw them when they were tweeting this out, and I was really curious. And to see that this is what it's kind of stunning. Somebody had tweeted out to her before the story broke. So are people going to go to jail? And she said something along the lines of, "I don't know, but a lot of stuff's coming out." So
he knew about the bribery, the kickbacks, the extortion, the money, and he also knew, as well as Hillary, and had to sign off along with Hillary Clinton on the deal.
I also want to point out that a lot of people are making race wars, and like some transgender model in UK is saying that white people are responsible for all the bad things in this world. And Alex Jones made a really good point. You have Condoleezza Rice, who was sold us the Iraqi war, so did Colin Powell. Mm-hmm. You've got Eric Holder. You've got Loretta Lynch. You've got Susan Rice. These are all black people. Barack Obama. They can control people and control the puppets and be part of the global elite just like anybody else. It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's an evil thing.
Even though that we know that they're trying to influence every aspect of our security and get control over America's uranium, they still allowed the deal to go through?
Well, and these are many of the same players, right? You had Rod Rosenstein. Rod Rosenstein then was head of this investigation when he was in Maryland, looking at the trucking company. And remember this,
that's right.
You have a trucking company that's moving American uranium that is involved in
he's the one that puts Mueller in to take down the president.
All kinds of issues, and they're moving a national security asset, uranium. And you have Andrew McCabe, who's the deputy director of the FBI now, who was also charged with that investigation.
These people
so there's
are
a lot
literally
of questions here still.
Involved in this?
Yes.
Look at this guy. Yeah. Him too.
So we got Mueller having to investigate his boss now, Rod Rosenstein, who also, and Andrew McCabe of the FBI, and probably James Comey. They all knew about this.
The truth is that all these guys have to step down because you can't investigate yourself.
That's exactly what we're looking at.
Pause for a moment. Back up a few seconds. You notice what's happening. This is going to hurt the country in many ways when this all comes out. So they held back And they're still trying to put Trump and his family in prison or overthrow them, saying they're Russian agents when there's no connections. And you've got the Democrats weren't Russian agents. They were just pimping us like America was a whore for $2 out to whoever'd buy it. I mean, these are like pimps that got 50 Johns out the door, and the Johns are putting cigarettes out on the woman's face. Kind of, last.
Here, let me get on to this.
We woke back up.
I think
all of them are. Now, about to end.
I think I might have to go to the third hour to get the rest of it, because I do want to get to the rest of this, because he does talk a little bit more about. Where is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, Gerald Celente is going to be joining us.
Running Out of Air says Mueller cannot investigate himself carrying uranium in a briefcase. Right.
Which she describes someone.
Let's see if I can find.
So the sound gets staticky when we get loud. I'm sorry about that. We will try to keep ourselves on the down.
So I'm not sure where I can find the rest of this in here. I'm just going to have to tell you. Yeah, I don't.
Watching that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to have to tell you the rest of it.
Dang it.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm not sure where Alex went to with the rest of this one. He was just keeping us on with bated breath.
Yeah, that's awful.
I wonder if because that was it.
There was the rest of because we watched.
I know we did. Yeah, I tried to find it. I tried to have it all queued up before. No, that's it. We already watched this. Yeah, I tried to watch this before.
Well, the rest of it's not going to be in front of it.
Okay, so it's okay. He asked Jeff Sessions a little bit more about this, and Jeff Sessions says, right now, the FBI, we're trying to keep order and discipline in the FBI. And he's asked about Rosenstein and if he should step down. And Jeff Sessions says, well, I was in a similar position, and I went to the ethics committee, and Rosenstein...
on just Infowars.com?
I don't know. I could just tell them.
Okay.
So Rosenstein, so Jeff Sessions says Rosenstein should go to the ethics committee to see what he should do, whether he should step down or not. So.
No, you just need to step down. And you know what? Sessions, you can make that call, buddy.
Right. So, there's two big stories happening right now. Donald Trump, our president-in-chief, went on a tweet storm this morning again about, and I thought this was actually already out there, that Comey had drafted a letter exonerating Clinton.
Right.
Before.
We covered that, though.
Yeah, but this is something different. This is something new that's come out. Donald Trump tweeted about it this morning.
Donald Trump Jr. or Donald
Trump,
president?
The president. Do you want to see his tweets?
Yeah. Well, no. I believe you.
No, you can see the tweets. It's cool to see the president. I actually love when the president tweets, because then we know what's going on. Real Donald Trump. There we go. This morning I was like, hey, what's going on? Donald Trump likes to tell us what's going on. So he tweets all day long, looks like. Yeah, he says...
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Well, the FBI confirms report that James Comey drafted letter exonerating crooked Hillary Clinton long before the investigation was complete.
Maybe it's just a big deal that they've confirmed it.
Many people not interviewed, including Clinton herself, Comey stated under oath that he didn't do this. Obvious fix. Where's the Justice Department? And he picked Jeff Sessions. So we're going to cover these two things together. I'm going to go back to the Obama FBI thing.
Loud.
Releasing documents confirming that then FBI Director James Comey began drafting his public statement about the Hillary Clinton email investigation 2 months before it was complete. Joining me now with reactions, South Carolina Congressman Trey Gowdy. He's the chairman of the House Oversight Committee and a member of the House Intelligence and Judiciary Committees. He's in Greenville tonight. Congressman, thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I think I left out ethics. You're on every committee, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here. Listen to this soundbite from a hearing.
Did you make the decision not to recommend criminal charges relating to classified information before or after Hillary Clinton was interviewed by the FBI on July the 2nd?
After. If colleagues of ours believe I am lying about when I made this decision, please urge them to contact me privately so we can have a conversation about this.
So we can have a
All I can do is tell you again, the decision was made after that because I didn't know what was going to happen in that interview.
Well, now the FBI has come out with these documents that suggest that that decision was made well before that time. Your thoughts on all of this?
Well, Brett, we're going to take him up on his offer. We are going to talk to his present and former colleagues. May the 2nd is when these memos, these heavily redacted memos, appear where they are discussing internally whether or not to make a charging decision. It is a month and a half later before he announces his decision in early July. So you got what? That's 2 months. 2 months from May the 2nd until July the 5th. There were 24 witness interviews in that time period. So if you're discussing whether or not to charge someone in early May and you haven't interviewed 24 witnesses, including one named Clinton, John Ratcliffe asked exactly the right question. I'm just not sure that Director Comey gave him an accurate answer.
I interviewed then Attorney General Loretta Lynch. I asked her this about this investigation. Does it concern you, though, that there is this perception that your Justice Department may, in the end, cut Secretary Clinton a break or do her a favor?
With every case, we handle it in the same way, and that's what I'd like to convey to the American people.
Now, Comey said that the tarmac meeting between Loretta Lynch and former President Bill Clinton was what precipitated his action of taking it essentially from DOJ. But that doesn't seem to add up.
No, the chronology does not add up. Again, May the 2nd is when they are discussing their charging decision. The meeting on the tarmac was June 22nd, June 26th, June 27th. So that's a month and a half later. And then a couple of days later, they interview Secretary Clinton. And then 2 days later, they decide that they're not going to charge. And he makes that public pronouncement. So his ostensible reason for taking that decision away from the Department of Justice was that meeting on the tarmac. But yet a month and a half earlier, he is memorializing a decision he's already made. So the chronology does not add up. His answers have been all over the map to both the Intelligence Committee and the clip you just played from Oversight. So we need to talk to him again, but we need to look at these memos before we have that conversation with him.
So you would like to see Comey back testifying on Capitol Hill?
For a number of reasons. He made a lot of decisions in 2016 that I think are worth reviewing. You know, Brett, whenever somebody decides to charge someone, there are lots of layers of scrutiny. When you decide not to charge someone, there aren't that many layers of scrutiny, but there ought to be at least a couple. The media should do it, but also Congress should look at this decision not to charge and whether or not it was made before you interviewed 24 witnesses, including the target of the investigation. Yeah, we need to talk to him again.
Loretta Lynch is up on the Hill Friday, we're told. Will she be asked any of this?
I don't think so. She's appearing before the House Intelligence Committee, and it will be limited to the scope of the Russia investigation, although you raise a good point. There are lots of reasons to talk to Loretta Lynch also, including to either corroborate or contradict Jim Comey's recollection that he talked to her about his decision to appropriate the Clinton server decision onto himself, but not on Friday. That will be restricted to what did Russia do and with whom did they do it.
There's a lot of investigations. Obviously, the Russia investigation, the Bob Mueller special counsel investigation. You are also looking and had talked to the former ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power. We reported that she requested, or her office requested, some 260 plus efforts to unmask. In other words, get who was talking and picked up in surveillance. How did she answer that question? Why so many?
Well, I'll tell you broadly, Brett, I think if she were on your show, she would say those requests to unmask may have been attributed to her, but they greatly exceed by an exponential factor the request she actually made. So that's her testimony, and she was pretty emphatic in it. The surveillance community, the intelligence community has assigned this number of requests to her. Her perspective, her testimony is, they may be under my name, but I did not make those requests. So we've got to get to the bottom of that. If there is someone else making
so somebody's lying. There's so many lies. It's hard to really get to the bottom of it, but we are getting to the bottom of some things. This is from the New York Post. Team Obama's stunning cover-up of the Russian crimes. It turns out the Obama administration knew the Russians were engaged in bribery. This is what Sarah Carter and her colleague were talking about on Sean Hannity. were engaged in bribery, kickbacks, and extortion in order to gain control of U.S. atomic resources, yet still okay the 2010 deal to give Moscow control of 1/5 of America's uranium. And, as we have discovered, they used that to sell it back to American companies.
Isn't that what they always do? Steal from you and then sell it back again.
So, remember, this is, I think it would have been cool to have the rest of that interview because he does say...
I bet I had it up.
Oh, go ahead if you do have it.
Well, I don't know if this is it, and if I press play, they're all going to hear it.
Oh, well, can you just play it in another window?
Nope, because everything I play on here gets put into the XSplit software. I don't know.
Okay. Well, what he did mention the fact that, there was $145,000 to the Clinton Foundation, Senator Grassley, and $500,000 speaking fee to Bill Clinton for a single speech. He basically read from the Hill article, but it was cool to watch him questioning Jeff Sessions. And so he says, by individuals involved in a deal that required Hillary Clinton's approval, the New York Times confirmed and followed up on Schweitzinger's Clinton Cash's reporting, all of it denounced by Hillary as a partisan hit job. But now the Hill reports that the FBI in 2009 had collected substantial evidence, eyewitnesses backed by documents of money laundering, blackmail, and bribery by Russian nuclear officials, all aimed at growing Vladimir Putin's atomic energy business inside the United States in violation of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. The Bureau even flagged the routing of millions from Russian nuclear officials to cutouts and onto Clinton Inc. So basically, the Bureau and the FBI Bureau flagged that money that was sent from the 9 people on the Russian nuclear board to the Clinton Foundation. They flagged it. They knew about it. They flagged it. Hillary Clinton, again, sat on a key government body that had to approve the deal, though she now claims she had no role in a deal with profound national security implications. The Obama administration anxious to reset the U.S.-Russian relations, and in 2000, I don't know which one it was, but Hillary Clinton is seen with that stupid button with the...
Oh, yeah, we've played that a couple of times.
She presses the button, and
it's so ridiculous.
What boggles my mind, though, is that she now says things like, Vladimir Putin's a dictator. Russia's our enemy. Russia's been our enemy for years. But then, and I'll go ahead and bring at least a picture of it up, Hillary Clinton Russian reset, because you need to see that she is talking out both sides of her
Let me read some comments here. Let's see. Enfant says, it's funny how all this corruption is news to people. We've all known these for a while. Zombie says, Comey could just say that he was writing it at the time he did in order to prepare beforehand if Clinton were to not be charged. And I thought that exact same thing, so I'm glad you brought that up. John Lamorgues says, Comey, he lied under oath. Hillary committed treason against our country. What more proof do we need to send them to prison?
Right. So this isn't really big, but this I did want to reconfirm. This was in 2009, the same year they were seeking the whole uranium deal.
It's so ridiculous.
Do you want? Well, I can bring it. It's just actually, it's yeah. We've played it before. We'll play it again.
Today it was
get to the button.
Minister reset button, but the State Department got it a little bit wrong. Let's watch.
I wanted to present you, which represents what President
I don't think that this
Obama
video would have been as immortalized if it hadn't had the wrong word on it. So I'm really glad. I feel like it was the Lord that it had the wrong.
So we will do it together.
It's so cheesy.
It doesn't even say.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
So if Trump,
but it doesn't say reset. I don't remember what it says.
It says reset. It's REST or something.
Well, no, it's actually in Russian.
Oh.
And that's why, and he calls it out.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We worked hard to get the right Russian word. You think we got it?
You get it wrong.
I got it wrong.
It should be перезагрузка. And this says перегрузка, which means overcharged.
Overcharged.
But we won't let you do that to us.
Overcharged. I feel like
we
that
won't
was a
let
little
you
bit,
do that to us.
I feel like it was a little bit of a Freudian slip on the mess up of the Russian word there.
She got money. She got money. She got money. And it's just, okay, so I want to play for you Sean Hannity's monologue from last night.
And thanks, Tucker. Welcome to Hannity. This is a Fox News alert. Welcome to Hannity. And tonight, explosive new evidence in what is becoming the biggest scandal, or at least one of them in American history. Now, it's something we have been saying would be exposed for months. According to new reports tonight from The Hill's John Solomon and Circa News' Sarah Carter, there are brand new FBI documents that show the Russian nuclear industry officials kicked back millions and millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation, all while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State and helped approve the Uranium One deal, which gave Moscow, Russia, Vladimir Putin control of 20% of American uranium, the foundational materials for nuclear weapons. And tonight, they're also reporting the FBI now has evidence that Russia for years has been doing this, and they're reporting the FBI has evidence that literally they used bribery to gain control over America's uranium industry, all while the Obama administration did nothing. And the Clintons benefited to the tune of nearly $145 million. You want a real Russia collusion story? We've got it. Also, is Congress now going to do...
So that was part of his opening monologue, and I wanted to share that with you guys because it was awesome. And we are going to keep you posted, obviously, like this with the whole Las Vegas story. We got to bring you guys everything that we can dig up. Let's see. This is one more on this, and then we're going to go on to James O'Keefe from the New York... exposing the New York Times
again.
Yeah, so this is
Hillary Clinton emails months before the FBI had wrapped up its investigation. Attorney General Jeff Sessions was
buffering
about it this morning in a Senate hearing. Roll tape.
I don't think it's been fully understood the significance of the error that Mr. Comey made on the Clinton matter.
Okay, Judge Napolitano, let's understand the significance
I'm
of the
shaking
error.
my head
Spell it.
because he has the power to correct that error, and he hasn't done so. If the error is that Jim Comey was wrong to stop the likely indictment of Hillary Clinton, then they should take the evidence and present it to a grand jury, but they haven't done so. Here's what he says the error was. The likely decision not to indict her before all of the raw evidence was in before them. Stuart, that happens every day in every prosecution. I'm not a defender of Jim Comey. I have strongly and aggressively criticized him. I've argued before you and our colleagues that there was ample evidence to indict her, that he was wrong to say no indictment, and he was wrong to make the statement he made in the middle of the summer. However, prosecutors all the time know ahead of time, are they going to indict or are they not going to indict? And then they look for evidence to support the preconceived notion, number one. Number two, he doesn't have to interview every witness because he has summaries of what the witnesses have told his FBI agents at the time he starts to write the letter. So this nonsense about you can't write the letter exonerating her until you've interviewed every witness simply is untrue.
I like what he says here, though.
Yeah.
To me, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Now, one of our commenters said Hillary Rodham Clinton must have something on Sessions and Mueller because they are stalling on placing charges on her. And I agree.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no other reason why they should be stalling because they do know that the investigation needs to continue and she needs to be indicted.
I wanted to bring up this WikiLeaks too because to kind of sum this up, Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller flew to Moscow and gave the FSB 10 grams of highly enriched uranium in 2009.
Right.
So Mueller was already making this a deal happening through the FBI.
It's infuriating.
And so if anybody's under, I mean, we covered this last night, but I'm going to keep saying this. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and the Democrats are so caught up in, and I'm not even going to say the whole Russian government because they want to make it the Russian government. And I think that in any country you have good people and you have bad people. And the Russians definitely have people that collude and do bad things. I'm not going to say the Russians. It's like saying the Americans are all bad people, right? But they colluded with Russians. I'm not saying Russia. I'm not even going to say that they colluded with Vladimir Putin, okay? Because obviously something negative went down there.
Somebody had left a comment. They were like, oh, man, I loved Putin, and now I'm beginning to question because of the Uranium One deal. And I'm like, you guys, I mean, seriously? That's not... that he did what was in the best interest for his country.
Right.
Okay. And so I'm still not ready to throw Putin under the bus.
Hillary Clinton wanted to start World War III with Russia.
Right.
So there's something there. She went on during the campaign and during the debates. Right. She would she's like, I'm coming after Russia. We're going after Russia. Right. Russia. I think because, like Michelle said, when you have done something wrong, it plays over and over in your head and it spills out.
Yeah, it seeps out like we were talking about earlier. Plus, speaking of World War III, Will makes a good point here that's worth reiterating. This was wheeled out as another distraction now with Las Vegas here and World War III looming.
Right.
So once again, we're looking at more distractions. However, these are true things that are happening, and it is good because it is kind of like a dam that has all of these failings in it, and it is about to completely burst open. And this is another gush, which is exciting that it's finally coming out.
And speaking of things being exposed, Project Veritas, you guys can watch the whole video. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Project Veritas Part 3 of the New York Times expose. The first... two, we saw Nick Dudek and we saw him working with YouTube. We know for a fact, if any of you Google, and I did this the other day, I was Googling something, and everything, all the search results come up, and they're all ABC, NBC, CNN, and it's no longer YouTube anymore. It's go find
Did you say Google, though? You were searching on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you did say that.
But Google and YouTube are now searching on YouTube.
It's not just personable people anymore. It is a media propaganda.
Right. Like I can show you this. Like let's say I put in Las Vegas shooting. The results here are going to be Time Magazine, Inside Edition, The Ellen Show, NBC, Good Morning America, CBS, Fox News, RT, BBC, Fox News, Today's Show, PBS. This isn't YouTube.
Right.
YouTube was never set up or designed to be a place where you can just go find
all of the news stations gathered in one place.
I mean, that's
what maybe there should be a place for that. But YouTube wasn't it.
YouTube was designed. What should be coming up right now
are all the videos that other people have done.
Are all the videos that people have done. And what when Nick Dudek, the black guy that works for YouTube, what he said is they started this, it's called a carousel.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that if you scroll past this entire carousel of videos, then you're just looking for Alex Jones or something like that. Because honestly, you guys, look at this. I am scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I can't find one
regular person
channel, just a regular channel. And so this is what's called YouTube censorship in a big way. They don't want you and I. This is why Michelle and I, we got like 160,000 views on our Charlottesville video,
and it capped off.
It capped off.
The way that it was progressing, we were getting at that point like 10,000 views a day, and it literally went to 160,000 and stopped.
Right.
Like in one day.
And then we lost views on it, which is hilarious.
I know. How can you lose
And we
views?
gained a ton of subscribers, and then we lost a bunch of them.
We're continuing to lose subscribers. Just the other day, I've received a couple of comments from people saying, I have been unsubscribed from you, and I didn't unsubscribe from you.
Right. And, well, the thing of it is, if you can get your video out on front before MSNBC or CBS makes their video, then you can get your video out. So, as Alex Jones was saying, to get past the censorship, which is why we go live.
I wonder if this works. So, let's see. Running Out of Air says, type in your search and then type negative CNN, negative NBC, negative ABC, negative CBS, etc. to exclude. I didn't know that you could do that.
Oh, you could say that?
CNN, CBS.
You have to type negative?
That's CBC. I don't know who CBS is.
Really? Let's try that. Let's see if we don't get anything. Okay, so it looks like it might take out. That's weird. You had to put
that is a good tip.
Wow, you're getting
and then
more that way.
An Alex Jones video.
So
we should do a video just for that to let people know.
Well, there's literally CBS like 3
seconds. But you put CBC. That's what I was telling you.
Oh, really?
Sorry, sister rudeness. I don't mean it that way. She knows it's love.
That's funny. That's funny.
People call us out on that all the time. Sisters. That's my only answer I can come back with. Sorry, guys.
Huh. Thank you for that tip. That's really cool.
Why is that like a hidden thing? Like, I didn't even know that. Okay, so now moving on.
Wow, this is amazing. I can just take out everybody out. Wow, that's really cool. Moving on. That's awesome. So back to being silenced over here. Here she is. This is a little clip, and basically what she says is, we are a liberal paper. Our viewers are liberal. We're not making any money.
Mm-hmm.
We are stumping. It's called the Trump bump, and so we know that people want to hear anti-Trump things, which is why we write them. And yes, we're kind of whoring ourselves out.
When I click on the New York Times, Trump.
When? Now?
No, I mean during the election.
Yep.
Sorry, sometimes with the Twitter it doesn't play right.
Part of it was because it was sensational. So people, but also, I think one of the things that maybe journalists were thinking about is like, oh, if we write about him, about how like insanely crazy he is and how ludicrous his policies are, then maybe people will read it and be like, oh wow, like we should vote for him.
She also goes on to say, you know, Pence is like some evil weirdo. I wanted to play this because James O'Keefe meets up with the I don't know, he's the owner of New York Times. Sorry, I don't know everybody. And questions him.
Mr. Levy, James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, is
managing editor.
Still working at the New York Times?
Oh,
I know.
It's okay.
You said you're reviewing the situation. We checked. He's no longer on the directory at New York Times website. You have any comment about Desiree Shu, released yesterday? She's a senior editor, and she said the same thing that he said. You said that Nick was just
fine. Okay. It's funner when it's
a junior position who did unethical activity. So what do you have to say that now a senior editor has been exposed? No comment.
It's always
you agree
embarrassing.
with Dean Beckay, executive editor, saying that I'm a sinner. Okay. He is avoiding us. He is going into the coffee shop. The deputy managing editor for the New York Times has ran into a coffee shop and is avoiding us at Project Veritas. We're doing the same thing that they do. We're asking him simple questions. Does their paper use their paper for editorial agenda? Mr. Levy, just the status of the investigation you're conducting, because you are reviewing the situation. Could you please give us a comment? Just one comment. One comment.
Guess he doesn't have a comment.
All right, as you can see, Mr. Levy, deputy managing editor of the New York Times, will not answer questions in light of our new revelations. The New York Times used to do undercover work all the time. They embraced undercover work. They used to do it. They recently embraced an investigation into the alt-right. And there is the mainstream media avoiding answering questions, avoiding accountability. The great thing is we have more videos to drop. In fact, we may drop another video tomorrow morning. So stay tuned, and let's see what the status of the investigation is into these New York Times employees. James O'Keefe reporting from Brooklyn, New York.
I love that he has finally gotten his dues.
Yeah.
You know, he put in so much in the beginning. He kind of looked stupid. He was people didn't really take him seriously, and they're actually making massive headway at Project Veritas.
You know what? I'm going to play a little bit more of this video because it's actually this one was kind of, I guess I don't know if this is the
For the New York Times, like our subscriptions have skyrocketed since, and I mean they call it the Trump bump, but the Trump bump.
This wasn't the first time we heard of the so-called Trump bump. Times audience strategy editor Nick Dudick made the exact same point.
I mean, honestly, Trump has driven us more business than anybody else. Anytime he says failing, we get a boost in subscribers.
Really?
Yep, so it kind of works both ways.
The bump is real, abundantly clear by the Times' second quarter financials. Total revenues are up 9% from the same period last year, including a 63% increase in digital subscriptions.
The Times, the Guardian, the BBC, not the Guardian, the BBC, the Washington Post, people who have paywalls up. The main objective is to grab subscribers. You do that any way that you can.
You do that any way that you can. And here is a tip for you. Caitlin Johnstone pointed this out. If you want to read a New York Times article, open up a new window or a new incognito window, and you'll be able to get past their paywall.
Really?
Yeah, because it's per device.
Huh.
So I open up an incognito window, and I can read their articles.
Strange.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? I like it. All right, so moving on to how many of you know of Pamela Geller? I love this woman. She speaks out against radical Islam. She is a Jew. And she was the woman who organized the Draw the Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah. Because you're not, when you are Muslim, you're not allowed to draw the prophet. You're not allowed to have any image. It's not just draw it. You're not allowed to have an image of the Prophet Muhammad at all.
And actually, to be completely politically correct, I wonder if I can bring this up. Australia had an ad.
Did you just say Australian?
Yeah, I'm putting it in. I'm putting in an Australian ad, and then multiple religions. And then at the end of it, they get all these.
Oh, that video.
Yeah, they get all these religions together, and it's like supposedly everybody eats lamb. So they put all these religions together. But unfortunately, the people from India were really upset because their Hindu god, Ganesha, is a vegetarian, doesn't eat meat. They had a Buddha there. They had a Jesus there. But at the end of it, there's no Muhammad. Let me see if I...
So, should we address the elephant in the room?
Not funny 2,500 years ago. Not funny now.
What is this we see?
He's quite an atheist.
Christian rock. This one's about me.
They're all about you. I don't understand why people take photographs of food.
You know, she probably has more followers than anyone at this table.
Really?
You're famous.
Christian Scientist.
Have you ever thought about Scientology? If you could just open your...
Ron, let's not get into religion at the table.
I gave up dinner with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, sure. I'll see you next time.
Who's that?
Mohammed.
Can't make an appearance.
Daycare pickup.
That is a shame.
Oh, I got a match.
Mohammed can't make an appearance.
Because he can't be shown.
That's so weird. So anyways, I wanted to bring that up to let you... but Pamela Geller... there is a guy who, as a result of this, tried to behead her. And he was today found guilty by a jury. Conspiracy to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization, guilty. Conspiracy to commit acts of terrorism transcending national boundaries, guilty. Conspiracy to obstruct justice, guilty. Obstruction of justice, guilty. Obstruction of justice, guilty. And so Pamela Geller, somebody wanted to behead her, and so he was found guilty because of that. Speaking of Islam, we're going to move on to our Islam part.
Because you knew we were going to get to something Islam.
Yeah. Let's go over here to the LBC guy over here. You guys all know who he is if you're from the UK. Sorry, I don't know everybody's name all the time. And it would appear that London is now the murder capital of Europe. We put EU, but all of Europe. Europe, the whole shebang.
There are some painful necessities that have to be addressed when you talk about stop and search. Yeah. And it does impact on a certain section of the community, which means that it has to be professionally administered at all times. But you know, tragically, that a lot of those youth killings, because we see their pictures staring at us on the pages of our newspapers, are not always, but often young black males. And tragically, often, the people who get nicked for the killings are young black males. And the people who carry knives are, in many instances, young black males. So we have a Prime Minister who, as the longest-serving Home Secretary in centuries, or certainly in decades, presided over the reduction in the number of stop and search. And this is what we are now reaping. I tell you now, I give you this now. As long as it is professionally conducted, as long as it is done courteously and respectfully, and not just, you're black, you must be carrying a knife, that doesn't work. Stop and search must be brought back. We're now, if you live in London, we're now living in a city where 2 young men were stabbed to death the night before last. One of them, by the way, as the headline makes plain on the Evening Standard, one of them for his iPhone. Killed for his iPhone, right? That is where we've come now. And I know there are sensitivities, and I don't want one section of society to think I'm just being stopped because I'm black. But equally, I don't think we want to preside over or live in a city where we now are the murder capital of Europe.
That's crazy.
Stop and search, courteously, professionally, respectfully practiced, must be brought back.
And I don't know if that's your answer or not, but I do see that there is a problem. I want to show you bombings. Let's see, not that one, not that bombshell.
The Sweden.
No, well, this one, but I think it was one that said that talked about the London bombings being, I think it might have been from InfoWars, but it was London bombings are up. Actually, maybe this was Sweden hit with wave of attempted bombings. There was another one. Okay, so staying in London, London police visit mosques to encourage, wait for it, hate crime reporting. Any rational thinking, this is from Pamela Geller, rational thinking human being would imagine that London police would visit mosques to encourage reporting of jihad incitement, terror plotting, incitement of Jew hatred, female genital mutilation, honor violence, etc. Well, every rational thinking person would be wrong. Every jihad attack has in it imprimatur of a Muslim cleric. London police visit mosques to encourage reporting of perceived hate crimes. From Judicial Watch, or Jihad Watch, Robert Spencer, the police are working with Tell Mama, a discredited anti-Islamophobia group that lost government funding in 2013 after exaggerating statistics to further their cause. It is unlikely that the London police know or care about many anti-Muslim hate crimes are actually faked by Muslims themselves in order to gain coveted victim status and deflect counter-terror efforts. London police visit mosques to encourage hate crime. This was by Breitbart just a couple days ago. Transport for London and London's police are teaming up to encourage people to report perceived so-called hate crimes, specifically targeting Muslims going into mosques. The police will be working with True Vision website used by anti-Brexit campaigners to claim the vote to leave the European Union caused hate crimes, and Tell Mama, a discredited anti-Islamophobia group that lost government funding. So it says the TFL and the Met Police will hold more than 200 community events and encourage reporting of hate crimes on visits to the East London Mosque and bus routes. So I just found this incredibly disingenuous.
I had read about this earlier this week because Justin sent it to me, and I just thought to myself, seriously? I mean, unfortunately, the tubes, as they call them, are where a lot of these attacks tend to be happening, and
right.
Yet that is where they are choosing to center their focus
right
on this. And I'm just, it makes my head spin. I'm like, do you not have any qualms about, you know, the fact that there were people that were injured or died in these attacks, and yet you're more worried about the Muslim that may enter the tube and be discriminated against by somebody on the subway? I don't know.
So Sweden is hit with a wave of attempted bombings. 5 explosions or attempted bombings in the past week alone. Sweden has been hit with a wave of attempted bombings over the past week, highlighting again how the once peaceful nation is changing rapidly. Last night, a powerful explosion ripped apart the attentions of the Hamburg police station, and I believe this is this one. Attack against our democracy, bombing of Swedish police station may be terror. The front of the police station in Helsingborg, Sweden, was demolished by explosives shortly after midnight Wednesday morning, an incident which has been called an attack on democracy by Swedish Prime Minister Stefan Löfven. Approximately 1 kilogram of explosives destroyed the front entrance to a local station in Helsingborg Wednesday, which also caved in the windows of building across the street from the target. Despite the very powerful explosion charge, there were no injuries or fatalities, according to reports. While police are in early stages of the investigation and are analyzing security camera footage from the vicinity around the station, terrorism expert Magnus Renstorp has said the incident could be a terror attack. I would say, yeah, you bombed a police station. Swedes aren't probably going to do that. This is from August 6, Breitbart, London. Sweden from socialist utopia to grenade attack capital in one short decade. Police spokesman Dan Ellison said the attack was an assault on all the people of Sweden, and said the national force would be giving local Helsingborg officers all the assistance that they needed in investigating the blast. He said, "This is very serious. An attack on the police is not just an attack on society, but on the safety of all the people. Now we come from the national level to give our colleagues in Region South all the help needed to protect our employees, except for going into no-go zones, right? It's another article from September 6th. Sweden rivals Mexico for grenade attacks. Shooting fatalities 5 times higher than neighboring countries. And Sweden opened up their arms. They're obviously debauched in their whole craziness with their sexual revolution and
we
whatever.
covered that last night. If you missed that video from last night,
I can't even.
You can go back and watch our live show.
Yeah.
From yesterday.
So, Donald Trump was lambasted earlier this year for his last night in Sweden comment, only to be proven right the next day after riots hit Stockholm. Since the country accepted hundreds of thousands of Muslim migrants, low-level urban terrorism has become commonplace in Sweden. They're setting cars on fire. They're raping people. It's just, which has a number of infamous Islamic ghettos, no-go zones where police, ambulance workers, firefighters, and journalists are attacked. Some postmen don't even deliver to some of these areas. Aside from the country's spiraling rape epidemic, violent crime is on the increase. And then you guys remember Peter Springendater, a veteran police investigator and former deputy head of the division for serious crimes at the police in Örebro, made headlines, remember, after he wrote a Facebook post in which he detailed how the country was in chaos due to the never-ending epidemic of serious crimes being committed by Muslim migrants.
What he did was he called out the fact that they're not allowed to put the country of origin on these attackers.
But he started naming their names, and they were all like Mohammed,
every different way you can spell Mohammed. But all he was doing was saying, listen, if we look at the stats themselves, like you're literally going to see all of these countries, you're seeing that they're not Swedish men is the point. And he called that out, and he was under a massive amount of fire. And I think he lost his job or he had to resign after doing it. So
I wanted to go next door to Norway. Many of you guys know that we're Swedish. We're Titch Norwegian because our grandma was half Swedish, half Norwegian. So anyways, going next door to Sweden, or Norway, a mentally ill asylum seeker from Somalia was sentenced to 2 years in prison for raping a woman in the garage under an airport arrivals lounge in Norway. And it boggles my mind because, like, I know personally of a dude who got like 20 years in prison for having child porn on his computer.
In the
United States. Like, seriously, you can get more than 2 years,
which is really bad. Let's establish that.
But I want to show you, like, you get longer sentences for not paying your taxes in the IRS. But like 2 years. I mean, these people are going to come out like. I don't even know which one it was, but it was one guy. He served a sentence, I think, like in Greece, but the prison was too overfilled, so he went out and then he raped and killed somebody.
Right.
But this rape occurred at the Oslo airport in March of 2016 when a woman in her late 20s was sitting on the floor by the lift in the parking garage waiting for her boyfriend's evening flight to arrive.
This is awful.
The Upper Romerike District Court heard the 20-year-old Somali asylum seeker who was housed in a care home for young asylum seekers with, quote, mental difficulties was giving her compliments and asked for her number and Facebook details. After the girl declined his advances, he tried to kiss her. She pushed him away, but he held her tight and forcefully, raped her. Eventually, a passerby arrived at the scene, and the rapist ran away. The Somali was later arrested that day after being identified by the closed caption TV footage. During interrogation, the migrant admitted to the rape charge, but in court denied admission, claiming that there were communication problems with the translator. The court considered whether Somali was mentally competent at the time he raped the woman. Immediately after the arrest, he was assessed by a psychiatrist to see if he were psychotic, monitored for a further 4 days, and was found not to be suffering from any form of psychosis. One therapist who assessed the asylum seeker after the rape even remarked that he seemed normal. The judgment concluded that the court is convinced that the defendant was sane at the time of the acts, but the rapist received a shorter sentence because of an alleged mental illness.
You know why they seem normal? Because, I'm serious, as opposed to, like, let's say, a westernized rapist. Because in Western society, it's not normal. It's not okay. There is not an okay in the book anywhere that says if a woman is not covered or whatever, that she can be raped. It really goes to prove that there is a mental like they're neural pathways, which make you insane in a sense, where you believe something to be bad and then you do it anyway. Right. These people don't believe what they're doing. I mean, they know that it's wrong, but they've been raised to believe that it's okay before Allah.
Right. I wanted to bring this up because Breitbart went ahead and put this article back in here to talk about the sentences. If the asylum seekers and the immigrants get giant sentences, the word will spread, don't do this. If you know you're going to be in prison for the next 20 or 30 years of your life.
Well, castration got brought up again.
Castration, yes. But this Iraqi asylum seeker, you guys heard about this one, but I'm going to bring it up again because
when we were covering when we were talking about castration before, Mom was commenting and she's like, just cut it all off. I was like,
that's really awesome.
That's my mother.
That's my mother.
Just cut it all off.
I don't say why not. Seriously. Iraqi asylum seeker was who raped a 10-year-old boy in a swimming center in Vienna will have his sentence reduced from 6 to 4 years after a judge felt his punishment was too draconian. And then the 20-year-old Iraqi brutally raped a 10-year-old boy at the swimming pool because he had a, quote, sexual emergency. The Iraqi was found guilty of rape and sentenced to 6 years, but may see freedom much sooner as a judge has now reduced his sentence to 4 years, meaning he may be as free as early as 2019.
I'm going to equally have a castration emergency if I run into anybody that says they had a sexual emergency and then raped somebody.
He came to Austria purely for economic reasons and was found not to have been persecuted in his native Iraq, confessed to the brutal rape, saying he had not had sex for 4 months and it was an emergency.
Stop it. Oh my gosh.
So,
but that wasn't sex. He sodomized a little boy. That is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. Stop calling it the same thing.
It's not. It's not. Okay, now I want to show this. This is kind of the idea of what's going on. There's a guy. He goes around with a microphone in Germany. And he gets so much from the Muslims. And he just lets them speak. Because they're digging their own grave. But what's weird about it is that the other Germans are like trying to break this up, and then you have this tall German guy just with a microphone, and he's just speak. Just tell me what's on your mind. Okay, so here we go. Sorry. So we're going to kind of read it a little bit.
What God? What God? Not Allah. This country does not belong to Allah. This land belongs to Allah. This world belongs to Allah. This land belongs to Allah, really? Everything belongs to Him. The whole world? The whole world belongs to Allah? Do you want Sharia here? Do you want this to be an Islamic state here? Everywhere in the world? Everywhere! We want an Islamic world! Allahu Akbar! After your death, you will see. You will see. You laugh now. You make the people manipulate now. But just wait. When the moment comes, when the angel of death comes to take your soul, then you will become pale. You will be afraid. You don't know. I know. I know. I will burn. I will burn in hell. I will have liquid ore poured down my throat. Now you have it good. Now you laugh. But just wait for that moment when the angel of death comes. Then I want to see your face again. When does he come then, this angel of death? Yes, you know the time for you is determined. And then you will, ooh, I already feel sorry for you. I don't see any pity from you already. Look at the levels you're in. Is this a peaceful religion?
Angel of death?
Some people are laughing now, but just wait. And something about sex with someone else's mother. Then unintelligible. You with your police protection here and there. You go ahead, film it. Allahu Akbar. Go home. The other Germans are like, go home, go home. If I kill you today, okay, why should you kill me? No, 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 no. I'm talking about that I kill you now. Then I have not killed you, but I have. And that's what that means, yeah. Allah decides what I will become, who dies, when you die. You understand? Okay, so Allah wants to kill me. No, exactly not.
But you're not listening to that if I kill you, it's Allah's will. Because Allah controls everything.
Right.
So I wanted to show you guys that one. I thought that was great. And then this video where I believe it's in Spanish, but
what in the world?
This is in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Let me get it right. Puerto Rico's Secretary of State filmed this in a dumpster. Aid is thrown away and mishandled, but they blame our president. Look at all this aid is just dumped. People are starving. They have no water, but they can throw away aid.
But that's not
the
dumpster,
water.
Though. It's a cargo container.
Well,
it's a
he's
shipping
saying
container.
that it's being tossed, thrown away. This is garbage.
That's crazy.
This is the garbage container.
But that's a giant shipping container.
Well, he's obviously saying that they're tossing it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's being wasted and thrown away. Sorry, I only took a year or two of Spanish.
It's just not enough.
Never enough.
12 comidas.
It says meals ready to eat on the box. He says 12 comida. I'm like a couple meals, 12 meals. I think it said there's 12 meals.
Hay 117 raciones perdidas.
So, I gotta tell you, unfortunately, Puerto Rico has a lot of socialist communists there, and it's pretty bad.
I just appreciate the comment section here. They have decided that it should be Aloha Snack Bar instead of
Aloha Snack Bar.
Yes,
I love
I don't remember
that.
who started it here, but Aloha Snack Bar.
Aloha Snack Bar.
Alan's Snack Bar.
Alan's Snack Bar.
So I enjoyed that. I'm sorry.
Thank you for that. We're gonna kind of finish this up here, but I wanted.
Jaden Franson was arrested from Britain's First
again
a few days ago because, from what I understand, she violated bail.
Okay.
So we don't cover Britain First very much. But I think we're going to. I'm going to save this video and this information for our Britain and European coverage on Sunday.
Okay.
Additionally, I am also going to save the Anne-Marie Waters new party for Sunday as well. We're going to cover that, this new party. I know John Petter had said it's the new red-pilled political party. We'll see. We'll see what happens. She's taken a lot of people from UKIP.
Okay.
And possibly maybe this party can grab hold. I'm not putting my weight behind either yet because I don't know. I do need to do a little bit more research on it, but I want to let you guys know ahead of time that I have been getting your links. Thank you, Barry Britvaza, for those, and John Petter, and we will cover it, but I'm going to do it on Sunday. We'll give Britain First, because Tommy Robinson went to the rally. He was one of the only news coverages that actually went. It wasn't really a rally, but so we're going to do the Britain First segment kind of on Sunday to round off, and maybe there will be new news as far as Jada Franson's arrest by then. So
he tweeted this one out today too. That's funny. So yeah, the last one I wanted to show you was the Trump dossier creators. They were at some House Intel hearings and they pled the Fifth. So these guys here who were part of Fusion GPS, who helped create that P-Gate thing going on, the FBI actually used to Sydney! Oh no, she didn't mean it. She didn't mean to. We were just finishing.
Well, here they are. Here's your people.
Hi people. So sorry about that.
Wait a minute. Trying again.
With the new, no, oh my god, I don't even know how the camera is.
Oh, that's backwards.
That's backwards. Okay, so with the P-Gate.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Cindy just wanted to come get the treats on the ground. She hasn't been whining or anything.
She's been very good.
She's been so good. Now we're a little cockeyed.
We're gonna get it worked out here, people. Oh my gosh. They love it when this happens. They just think it's so much fun.
So much fun.
Out loud, you guys. There we go.
So you know what? We were going to end with a song this time, but I wanted Michelle to be able to read a few comments before we left.
Sydney, obviously. Yes, Will always says, do not work with animals or children. They will steal the show. Obviously, she did a good job at stealing the show today. All right. Well done, Sydney. Yes, we are back. It's like you're all in our house. Yes, I know, it's kind of weird. We do feel like you are. When we speak into the camera, we feel like we are talking with you.
Yes.
All right, so then I've got here another dog down here. All right, to the comments. I think more of the relevant comments were earlier on. Let's see what I can get to here. He was saying that there were 12 meals in the box wasted. This was reported to the FBI, and mayor of the town is being, the mayor of the town is being investigated.
Thank you.
Jada went on the run for 11 weeks to attend the Chelsea Rights March.
Okay.
They're still working on that.
Okay.
Let's see. No, Sydney is the dog. Sorry, guys. Chelsea Wright got railed, for those of you that don't know, by a gang of Muslims in Sunderland, England, and a year later, still no court case, and they've not even charged the perpetrators.
Yeah,
so they're still marching for that. So
is in Britain where the Sharia is implemented. The Sharia would entail Muslims and non-Muslims living together as they did from China all the way to Spain under the Ottoman Caliphate, the Abbasid, the Umayyad Caliphate. It has happened in the past. Non-Muslims will pay something called a tax, called the jizya, whereby their food, clothing and shelter and their honour will be protected and it will be provided for. You'll see that places like, you know, Downing Street and, you know, Buckingham Palace, they will be under the Sharia. We'll probably make it into a homeless person's shelter.
They'll probably make Buckingham Palace into a homeless person's shelter. How many of you are from the UK, you'd like to see Buckingham Palace as a homeless person's shelter and the Sharia, and you know, you can just be taxed and they will protect you. They'll protect you, he said. They'll protect you.
Oh my gosh.
How can you see? I think you have to be put in jail for something like that. I mean, seriously.
I agree. So John Daniel says earlier, if these pedophiles knew they'd be hanged if they rape a child, then they'd think twice about it. And I agree 100%. The punishment has to fit the crime.
Right.
And when you steal a child's innocence like that, it's just as good as if you had almost killed them inside. So, let's see. When are the people going to wake up about Islam and its intent? It's not just another religion. It's an invading force hell-bent on global domination. Well said.
So this is a horrible, again, for our UK viewers, a police community support an officer who raped and sexually assaulted women he met while investigating crimes. Orhan Yeget, 44, paraded naked in front of a victim of domestic violence, asked her for sexual favors in return for help to escape her marriage, and forced her into a sex act, a jury was told. Another married mother who innocently answered the door to him, dressed in a nightie, was cuddled and kissed. A third woman, he went on, it goes on this, and it seems to me like the police are backing him and supporting him. So this is This says the married father of two was aware she was beaten by her husband, was a victim, and yet took advantage of her desperate situation. The jury heard. Mr. Brooks said Yajit made an excuse to go into her bedroom. And wow.
I'm so tired of covering this stuff. I can't even tell you. I'm fed up with covering this.
Wow.
It's awful, and it has to be covered. I'm just saying that it has to stop.
Right.
Enough is enough. It's too much. I can't. These people. Oh my gosh. Here's the thing. We are on the winning side.
Yeah.
And the evil forces that be. We're Christians. Obviously, we believe it is like the force, light against dark. And God is winning. God is moving. So I want you guys to be excited after you watch our show.
Yeah.
And not, why art thou cast down, O my soul?
Right.
Because hope thou in God is the end of that verse.
Yes.
Hope thou in God. And so we see them fighting so hard right now. We live in such incredibly evil times right now, that you know it's always darkest before the dawn. And so they're scrambling, like turning on the light, and cockroaches scurry. We are on the winning side. I am so excited to see what God is continuing to do, what he is going to do. I'm seeing righteous men and women rise up all over the world.
Absolutely.
So this is a very exciting time to be alive. And when I pray, oftentimes I tell God, I'm like, are you serious? You wanted us alive for right now, out of all the time in history. You know, okay, the Revolutionary War, you know, that kind of thing, that would have been really cool. But I feel like we're in the equivalent, maybe even something more pertinent. Right now. The fact that we are alive today, the fact that you guys are alive today is a huge deal. God has a plan for each and every single one of you. You have no idea the ripple effect that one word that you can say to somebody, you know, an act of love or truth or red pilling, whatever, could change their life, and then it could affect, you know, thousands or millions or whatever, which is why it's so important that you guys do what you're doing, you know, in the comment sections. It seems like, oh, I'm not doing enough. No, you are.
Right. And we have to bring out the truth. And unfortunately, you guys don't have in Britain the First Amendment. And so if Jada and Paul are out there,
and they are out there,
and they're doing what they feel is right. They are bringing Islam to the front in a way that challenges the norm. That we just shut our ears, we shut our eyes, and we let things go. They bring light to these perpetrators who get a pass on the media. They'd rather talk about Donald Trump, especially in the BBC and things like that. So we do need to lift them up, and we need to be able to say, hey, we back and support you because you're out there backing and supporting victims.
Right.
And that's all that they are doing, is backing and supporting victims. They are, Jada and Paul were charged, accused of, racially and religiously charged words. Seriously? Religiously aggravated harassment.
Wow.
The pair were charged earlier this year following concerns relating to their alleged behavior during the trial of 3 Muslim men and a teenager for raping a teenage girl above a pizza takeaway. They had all denied the charges, but were handed a total of 42 years behind bars. Thank you, Jesus. These weren't the people that made them into shish kebabs, were they? The trial heard that the 4 men pounced on the girl as she made her way to a friend's house. And
is that still talking about Chelsea?
Yeah. No, this is a different one. This is different. This is different.
Well, it sounds like a similar story. They have the same MO. They keep doing the exact same things.
Right. So
it's disgusting. Now, Britt Baza said that they do have a freedom of speech written into their First Amendment, or no, excuse me, not the First Amendment, but into their Bill of Rights. But they have too much political correctness. However, the fact that you guys are now being imprisoned for things, for just tweeting things, I feel like your freedom of speech is just gone.
Right.
Earlier today, they were talking about having a constitutional convention, and
here in America,
and the comments. This was on Alex Jones. And the comments that were made were really important. Now is not, I guess, Justice Scalia had said that this is the wrong century to have that, because we, as a human race, should not be writing a constitution at all. Because you're not going to stick.
We're not in a good place mentally.
But what really hit was, I think it was Alex or the other guy he was interviewing, somebody said, well, it doesn't matter, because even if they were to rewrite a new constitution, they're not going to follow it because they're not upholding the one that they have now.
Right.
So,
all right. So we've sang this song before. We're gonna sing it again because it's on my mind. It's "Jesus, Lover of My Soul." You guys asked for a song. We want to bring a song. You want to hear a song. You want to hear us sing. Sure, you can hear us sing. That's great. I love it. Bring church, man. So you gonna start out?
You should start it out.
Jesus, lover of my soul. Jesus, you will never let me go. You've taken me from that miry clay. You set my feet upon the rock, and now I know that I love you, and I need yeah. And though my world may fall, you'll never let me go. 'Cause you're my Savior. You're my closest friend, and I will worship you until the very end. And Jesus, you're the lover of my soul. Jesus, you will never let me go. You've taken me from that miry clay. You set my feet upon the rock, and now I know that I love you, and I need you, yeah. And though my world may fall, you'll never let me go. 'Cause you're my Savior, you're my closest friend, and I will worship you until the very end. Yay!
All right. Okay, guys. Thank you for being here. Our moderators. I'm not sure if I saw John. I think I did see John Petter tonight. Will, Gary, Maya, and Kelly. Justin, worth a look. 2 channels. Actually, I'm going to give you 3 channels that I want you to subscribe to tonight. As always, go to Will's channel, Cypher News, CIPHER News. Worth a look. Just literally, while you got him in the chat, click on it, go to his page, subscribe to his channel. But also, some of our dearest friends, Go and Batty, have a Homestead channel. They go live every Wednesday night at 7:30.
Yeah,
they are amazing people. They have an awesome channel. So I want you guys to go and subscribe to them because you'll get some just wholesome, like feel good programming. I mean, and if you need recipes, like whatever.
And the Big Family Homestead, which is how
Kevin does a Bible study on Sunday mornings. Yeah. That's awesome. So I wanted to hit those up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. That way, if we ever get shut down, you have both channels.
Find us on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. We're also on VidMe. Resistance Chicks 777.
We're at Blogger, Resistance Chicks, and Isaiah 58 Ministries.
Our post office box is P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio 45150. You can address Resistance Chicks. It comes right to us. We'll read your letters on air. We love you. God loves you. God bless. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. You guys are the reason that we do. We love
ya.
We love you guys. So, and we'll see you on Friday. Yep. At 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and again on Sunday for European and
those are the for sure times. Everything else is like, when are they gonna go live? I don't know. When they get inside from
working outside.
Yep.
All right. Bye,
I'm gonna go get my. I got a fire today. I made these little packets with some pork and potatoes and carrots and onions in it.
So you had a fire.
Yeah.
Then you took our pork from our Kuni pigs. Everyone wants to know if we eat them.
Our potatoes from the ground.
Carrots from the store.
And onions from the store.
But you had a fire to clean up stuff around the house.
Yep. And we put
them in made foil. A little chicken packet. Yummy
but it was
goodness.
Pork.
It's always chicken. Now it's pork. I'm sorry. It's pork packet.
Put it in the fire and I gotta go get it.
In the coals. Yeah. So we're going to go eat. Yummy. Y'all need to go eat. If you're overseas and you're watching us, God bless you.
Nighty night.
Go to bed.
Was cold, all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid, but you go.